Tonight, we want to talk about marriage rejuvenation. All right, let's get right to it. We want to talk about marriage rejuvenation. Whenever we do Marriage Monday, we pray about like what we should discuss. Yeah. And we try to gauge it from, maybe even our own places, because we try to be extremely transparent. And we also think about, just where we feel the temperament is. Yeah. And so we were talking, and I was telling my wife, I said, I kept checking in on her all last week. It's like, babe, you good? You good? Because she was extremely quiet and distant, and it was unusual. And so I was just trying to make sure that everything was fine and that she was good, that we was good, because our love languages, like we tell you, are different. One of her love languages is quality time. So presence for her, if she can see me, know where I am, I'm in the house, I'm in the room, I'm around her, that in and of itself makes her feel secure and loved. For me, her tank might be all the way full, and me being together is not the thing for me, right? It's about communication. It's about talking and sharing, right? And so she was quiet, and I was like, kind of feeling my love tank was kind of low, and I was just checking in to make sure we were okay. And she just kind of said, I haven't really thought about it much, but now that you mention it, I think I'm just a little bit stressed. I'm just a little bit concerned. We moving, we got to find a house, we got to get settled, all of this stuff. And and I was trying to figure out, that's a high priority for me as well. But I was trying to figure out where this was coming from, because I wasn't trying to project that. I'm equally concerned. I'm equally, anxious almost, in a sense, and wanting to move, but not prematurely. And we've been doing some house hunting, going back and forth to Chicago. And, in our transition, my wife and I have never not going to church together with my whole family. So each Sunday I drive to Chicago and go, and she's not with me. That's unusual for us, because we don't worship separately. We worship together, and always have. And so, it's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of dynamics that's happening with our family. Our transition of the revolution going global is just all this stuff. So I was just checking in, because she has a high pain tolerance, both physically as well as emotionally. And so I was just trying to see where she was, because I didn't feel connected. And then so when she thought about it, she shared that, and then she started to share, some thoughts. Go ahead and share with them, babe, what you said to me.
Yeah, just some thoughts that, like finally when I just kind of honed in, I got a massage. I just did everything that I thought that I needed to do to help me to just kind of like relax. And it wasn't really until probably this afternoon when we just started talking, and we always really try to be very transparent in the moment. And I said to him that I feel that, that I was in the grocery store and I was getting groceries, and I looked at the seasonal section, and in the seasonal section, they had back to school supplies. And I was just like, oh my God, like really, we about to start thinking about back to school. And then I realized we're in July, which is the time that it is. But because we've been in quarantine, and I feel being in quarantine in a sense has been very traumatic. And I think now we're dealing with the results of being in quarantine, and then all the riots and all this stuff that is just going on.
Brutality,
watching
pandemic,
all
COVID,
of it, just
people getting sick, passing.
All of it,
being afraid to leave your house, combating fear with your faith, and just all of that stuff.
And I think you just, as an individual, especially being a parent and just being strong, that you just press through. You just press through everything. Okay, so now we're in a pandemic. Let me press through. Now we got riots going on. Let me press through. Now, Black Lives Matter. Let me press through. Like, you're just pressing through. And I think finally, everything is starting to just settle. And in the settlement of it all, you realize that you're in July, and you haven't taken a break. You haven't had a moment. You haven't, had intimacy time without like having a timer on with your spouse. You haven't, really embraced the summer because you've been in trauma, you've been maintaining, which at one point just starts to kind of narrow in like, yeah, you need a break.
Yeah, and you can't really take a break. So what we
Right.
do, we like to vacation. Our life is very strenuous, so we take vacations. It don't have to be long. It's just 2 or 3 days. Sometimes it's a week. We connect with our extended family and just, have the time to be poured back into, because we spend so much of our time pouring out. And so although we minister to each other and try to be honest, still in this space, it was just awkward. So I was like, I said, maybe that's our topic for tonight, that maybe other people are just where the same place we are. Are you guys like in the same space, where we are? Are you feeling that and trying to navigate through it and figure out how to lead your family, husbands, through all of this and remain your position, and mothers and wives, are you trying to navigate your home and provide some stability? And we're so busy taking care of everybody else, and through transition and separation and time, somebody can leave the house for work, somebody else can't leave the house for work. Right. You know what I'm saying? Then you get claustrophobic, you got cabin fever. I see them saying, yes. That's cool. So we tapped into it tonight, and we were just talking. And so we were in the backyard when we were talking, and that's where we are. And so instead of hating the season that you're in and hating how you feel, because some things you could change, some things you can't, we just say, hey, let's just jump in, because if other couples are feeling this way, let's talk about marriage rejuvenation tonight, right? So how do you practically rejuvenate your marriage in this space and in this time? Something that we are transparently, actively practicing and communicating and navigating. So we started talking about it today. And so if you just write the words marriage rejuvenation, right? And if you're single, just write rejuvenation, right? Because it's still going to be applied to you. If you're engaged, just write relationship rejuvenation, right? So marriage, everybody just type marriage rejuvenation or relationship rejuvenation. All right. I love you guys are sharing. Thank you. Navigating so much, in charge of it, separation, trying to breathe, trying to find a job, all this stuff, right? It's all coming at us. So just type it. So we want to just talk to you from that space. So when we talk to you at that space, the first thing that we want to deal with tonight, the first key that we just want to talk about is just reflection, right? Or was reflection last? I think reflection was last. Yeah. Or was it first? I think it was last. At least I did it backwards. Anyway, so let's start with reflection, though, because I think the reason why I did it backwards, because that's how we got here in the conversation. We started talking about like, okay, so how do we get here? Where have we been? Why are we here? Do we like it? Does it suck? Is it okay? How do we get out, right? And so we dealt with reflection. So just when you reflect over my wife said something powerful when she was talking about school supplies as a trigger. You reflect, here we are in the 7th month. It's the last 7 months of this year. And 4 of them, we've been like in quarantine, on edge, can't do watching something. The news, they're telling us and all this stuff, and it's stress. So when you reflect on how you are and how you got here, then you don't take that out on your spouse. Right. You don't take it personal, because even though I felt personally rejected, if I'm honest, I felt personally rejected, personally abandoned. I know that wasn't her. That wasn't the spirit of who she was. And so not to take it personal, I just kept asking her, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you good? Until she came up with what it was. It was even up until last night when I said, babe, you do realize that for the last 7 days, like since we talked about communication on Monday, that we haven't really communicated. She was like, I hadn't noticed it.
I hadn't, and I felt really bad.
Yeah, she said, "I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry." Like,
feel that way. I was like,
because it was like, for me,
not personal.
I know, but it was just like I wasn't trying to give that to him, but I was really the reason why, if I'm honest, the reason why I'm stressed is because I'm trying to make sure that I'm taking some load off of him so that he can do what he has to do. So I'm trying like to where, house hunting, so he don't have to go through all of these houses. So it's like I'm doing this for us and to help you, and then for you to feel like you were rejected. I was just like, oh my God, Lord, help me. Yeah. But it was very stressful taking that on. And in retrospect, I should have I did say that I feel stressed, but that was all that I had. I didn't have nothing else.
Right. And then this morning when we talked about it, again, in the same fashion, what was challenging for her to think through, we went for our walk this morning. And in our walk, I was able to solve what she was holding in, trying to keep from me in a moment by just sharing it. So in the reflection, we talked about, we assessed in our family, how do we get here? Let's not take it out on each other. Where are we? Just an emotional check-in. Where are we right now in this moment, in this time? And so it's so good for you and your spouse to do that. Where are we? And if you're single, you just say, where am I right now?
Right.
Because even before we could get to us, we had to get to ourselves. Where am I? What's happening? What's going on? What are we feeling emotionally? How are we navigating it? And so one of the keys we wanted to give you for the reflection was, go ahead, you could do the first one.
Yeah, the first one is an idea that I think is really cool, and it's just the us notebook. And if you're unmarried, it's a notebook, and you just keep it in your kitchen, and you just write things, positive things about each other that they can look at in their own spare time. And especially if you had like an argument, you can kind of go back to that book and see what your spouse really feels about you, really thinks about you. And so like every now and then I'll just text my husband. He said one time, I just text him while we're sitting in the same room. And it was just a reflection of him and how I felt about him. And it was a positive thing. And it really impacted him a lot. I didn't think that it would impact him that much. I was just being honest and just played in the moment. But just having those words and them able to read it whenever, as an unmarried person, writing positive words about how you feel today. I feel fabulous. I'm confident. I'm good. Affirmations, great. Right. Affirmations are very good. And most of the time when we're in a funky space, we don't even think about affirmations, but the notebook will help us to reflect and to remember those things.
Right. So basically it's a journal that you share, right? So you got your personal journal, but it's a journal that you share, the us notebook, and you make sure that you share the words because words matter, right? And you put the words out there and you send text messages and you communicate between each other so you can continue to keep that out there. So that's a good reflection tool, right? Another one, whether you believe it or not, is therapy. All right. Don't be afraid to go to therapy. Therapy is healthy. It's therapeutic. It doesn't always mean something is wrong. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of mental strain that's happening right now in the world and in society. So find you a therapist. You can go online for therapy. You can make calls for therapy.
You can do it virtually now.
Virtual therapy. Yeah. So make sure that you find somewhere that you can talk it out. Right. If you can't talk it out with your spouse, if it's contentious, then find a therapist, find an outlet so you can be able to allow yourself to breathe and allow yourself to heal and allow yourself to think through whatever it is
that you're going through
and that you're feeling. So therapy is good. All right. So you got your us net workbook, you got your therapy sessions, and then the last one, go ahead. You want to do this? We do this one in Create a Marriage.
You listen to your favorite songs together and you tell why you love these songs. My husband did this for my birthday, right? It was my birthday, and we just sat down and he just kind of scrolled through some songs and he was like, why do you like this song? And then I shared it with him and he was like, I never knew that about you. And it was really, really cool. It was really, I know he does everything on purpose, but it was a really cool thing that we did. So just sit there and think about maybe 5 songs and play them. Like it's not you just list your 5 songs. No, you sit there and you listen to them so the other person can listen to the words and listen to how the music is flowing and see a different side of you, or maybe a side that they kind of knew but didn't totally know. So it's a really cool exercise of reflection.
And the thing about that, why we like reflection with music, because music captures moments and it brings back memories, right? So sometimes it's not a good memory, but most of the time it's a great memory. For us, particularly for my wife, music brings back her childhood, right? So her dad's like into records and music, and my dad's into music and records. records. So when we talk about music, we start reminiscing about our childhood, high school days. We're mature enough. We start thinking about our first date, our prom, all that kind of stuff. And we don't get weird when we start doing that, because it doesn't conjure up all this stuff. And even the songs that do conjure up stuff, we honest about it. We know how to navigate it and stay away from them, or at least I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sitting back, turning that dang on TV off, right? Like finding another way to get you some news besides watching the news all day. Turn the TV off and just turn on some music, man. Your favorite tunes, your favorite songs, and almost like escape from the moment you're in, and just have a moment of reflection that brings some smile to your face. Maybe you start dancing, maybe you start grooving, maybe you start telling stories, maybe it brings a healing something to your life or a healing moment to you. You never know, but listening to music is so peaceful and it's therapeutic. It's a great tool for reflection. Right?
It's so good.
So Marriage Rejuvenation, that was one with 3 in it, right? But the first one is reflection. Y'all got that? All right. So the number two is recreation.
Woo.
Recreation. All right. Don't start tonight. All right. Here we go. Number 2 is recreation. We outside. So they like, you and I don't know.
Okay.
So recreation is so good because recreation is just something that helps you to bond together. That helps you connect together, right? And this one sometimes for us is hard because we're not the recreation people all the time. We do a lot of things independently and separate. This morning I was getting ready to go for my walk, and when I got ready to go for my walk, my wife was already dressed. Last week I asked her, when she was rejecting me. Last week I asked her, do you want to go for a walk? She's like, no, I don't want to go for a walk. I was like, okay, fine. So I just went for a walk. I did all my exercises all week by myself. So this week I was like, I shouldn't have, but I was like, I'm not asking her if she want to do it, right? But when I got up, she said, well, what are you about to do? I said, I'm about to go for my walk. She said, well, I was going to go for your walk with you. I was like, oh, really? I said, well, come on, let's go for the walk. So we went outside and we went for a walk together. And although we walk at 2 different paces, and although, I'm faster, it's not about the pace. It's about being together. But for her, because she tried to act like I'm the only one competitive.
You're competitive.
If she can't keep up,
I'm not competitive.
It's a problem. Anyway, we did it together. We went for a walk together. And while we were walking, we were talking. Then we just walked and exercised. And that was a bonding moment for this morning that brought us to a turning point for tonight. So recreation is good. So try a new hobby together. Try each other's hobby, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like what she likes. Sometimes it's what I like. And then we just try it on both sides. But trying a hobby together is a great thing to do.
And then also trying a new hobby together.
Yeah.
Like something that neither one of you doesn't know anything about, but you can come to a happy medium or a common space and decide that we're going to try this together. That just opens up. And then another thing that my husband does that I think opened me up to want to go walk with him is that he helped me make up the bed. And we were making up the bed together, and he was kind of doing it the way that I like it to be done. He was taking his time, but it was something that we did together. And what was that research that you saw?
I was saying, if couples wake up in the morning and make up the bed together, it starts them off their day doing something together. It starts off their day doing something together that gives them a sense of completion, a sense of accomplishment, and a sense of partnership.
Yeah, but maybe you don't make up the bed. Maybe you sit down and you have a cup of coffee together, but it's just something that you both can do together.
Before you go like that.
Yeah.
You were going to do number 2?
The next one is go on a road trip. This is my favorite. He is not a road trip person, but he will go to Chicago.
No, babe,
he'll go 2 hours.
What about Michigan Mondays?
Michigan Mondays. I apologize. I'm sorry. I apologize. So Michigan, my husband has come up.
15-hour trip, then it don't count. That's crazy.
That's not a road trip.
Oh my God.
You gotta have a gas station stop, and you gotta go to eat somewhere or whatever.
So long.
Okay, but let's just kind of hone in to he has made up this Michigan Monday, which is really cool. He takes us on an adventure in Michigan that I think most Michiganders don't realize there's so much to do in Michigan, and especially outdoors. And my husband has made it his his thing to make sure that we do something in Michigan every Monday. And then also, go on a road trip. We go to Chicago. When we go to Chicago, it's our time to talk, listen to music, think about different things that we're thinking about, reflecting. Usually it's better if it's just the couple that's going without the
kids
children,
dominate.
because the kids take it over.
But we have fun with them.
We have fun. It's their road trip. They decide where they want to go to eat and all the other kind of stuff. But it's when it's just the two of you, you can just kind of decide what you want to do. Say you may not have enough time to go to Chicago or whatever, but just 45 minutes or just driving down the highway, to Muskegon and then turning back around and come. It's just really the time of being in a closed space together, and all you're doing is just driving. Right. You don't have to look at your cell phone. It's just the two of you together, or it's intentional. So right. A road trip is always a great thing to do.
So I know you need a vacation right now. Some of you took it. Some of you need to take it. Some of you are afraid to get on a plane. You don't know how to take it. But listen, you can still drive. Before the planes were there, you jump in the station wagon, you jump in the van, and you can go somewhere. Just break the triangle. Yeah. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be long. Just break the triangle. We live in Grand Rapids. We just went to Grand Haven. That was about 45 minutes away. Yeah. We went to Grand Haven, nice little quaint town, and went out on the lake and just had a little fun. The day cost me a couple $100, but the memories was amazing, right? And just to play, just to have fun, just to keep it light. Pick a day that works and just break the triangle, right? If you're in Chicago, go to Indiana. Indiana got great beaches. If you don't want to go to Indiana, go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's farther, but Indiana is closer. Here, Indiana got great beaches. Just go. I don't want to be outside in the sun. I don't want to be around people. It's not about that. It's just the park. It's just changing your dynamic, getting out your house. Today, I spent most of the time out the house. We're out the house right now just because I was just tired. I just did not want to be in the house no more. And I was tired of sitting in the house, and I didn't want to take it out on my wife or anything. So recreation, just coming outside and experiencing something else. Yeah. I don't have to wear a mask, breathe fresh air. Don't got to be around a lot of people, but it's refreshing. So take a road trip. Okay. Yeah. You want to do the other one?
The next one is a home improvement, having a project together.
Depends on the couple.
Right. Yeah. Depends on the couple, but mainly just, if you guys if you get excited to go on Home Depot or wherever these other places are, and you've talked about doing your floor, or you talked about, painting a wall or whatever, do that together. And I've seen, on Facebook or whatever, couples that have, picked up their floors together. We know an older couple that do home improvements all the time, all the time. They're like amazing. And they've done it for years with each other. Yeah. But just having just a project that you can do together is really cool.
Yeah. Or just if it's not home improvement, find something. So what else do y'all like to do for recreation? Like, what do you like to do for recreation? Just for fun, just to relax, just to connect with each other, just to replenish and restore your relationship. Like, what do you like to do? I'm tired of these projects. No more Home Depot. Exactly. That's what I said. It depends on the people, because some people feel that
some
way.
People have done.
It's work, right? Yeah. Some people feel like it's work, right? So what do you like? We worked 6. So she said she was tired, and then they said this is good stuff. We worked on one last weekend in the backyard, and it was great doing it together. Right. So it's just about where you at and what you and what your relationship. Done. Yeah. Somebody said they like watching funny videos together.
That is me. I love it.
Craziest funny videos, right? So you got working out together. Somebody else said they like working out together, going to the gym and going swimming and playing video games. Cool. Exactly. Yeah, that's super cool. Swimming together is great, right? So it's just trying to make the connection and find a place for recreation. And of course, for all you married people, don't forget sex. Sex is recreation, all right? Sex is an excellent time to recreate. Your love life, recreate connection between each other, and always do these type of things, right? She says, my husband never has ideas. I don't know what to do. Your husband don't have to come up with all the ideas. We're giving you some ideas right now, because sometimes that's pressure. Is he a manager, a leader, an idea person? And so if he is, it's like, come now, I got to figure out this and come up with that and do all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? saying? So sometimes it's just difficult.
And then
listen to music together, do dance, watch Netflix a lot, order food, have a candlelight dinner in the dining room. It's so good. I love that. I love doing it all week, paint at the door, planner boxes to match, and all that stuff. Exactly. And when my wife want to go outside and do yard work, I don't want to do that, but that's what she enjoys.
And I enjoy it, and then I tell him to come out, because maybe he won't, maybe he doesn't have to do it with me, but you do have to see what I did. And then you have to come out. But for the woman that was talking about my husband, he doesn't have any ideas. Sometimes if you plan something and then you invite the other person in, that helps to help them to create ideas. Yeah. They'll start looking for it, because sometimes they just don't know where to start.
That's right. So, and then like we said, don't forget sex. Sex is an important part of your marriage. And when you are feeling disconnected, stressed out, some people want to have sex because they feel stressed, and some people don't want to have sex when they feel stressed. Right? They don't feel sexy. They don't feel intimate. They don't feel like having a sense of connection, and you'll abandon your sex life unintentionally, because of everything else that's going on in the world will be providing pressure for you, and you won't realize that it's providing pressure. And so while you're dealing with that, you'll find an absence in your sex life. And if you get absent in your sex life, then there's other tensions and frustrations and stuff that gets built up. So don't think that sex is automatic, because the more stress, the more the kids are nagging and bothering, and the more tension you have. Some couples, it drives them together, and some couples, it drives them apart, so you gotta know that sex is important, and you gotta know that it's important married, right? Because for my single people that's watching, it might become a vice, for you, and you have to protect yourself because you like stressed out. So you open yourself up to sexual relationships that are unhealthy and creates a whole different level of complication. So it's amazing, because I always say, it's like, man, we watch single people have so much more sex than married people do. And so and that's because married people sometimes take it for granted, and they just forget about being intentional about their sex life. So sex is an important recreation. It's an important recreation. What is it? If y'all haven't gotten the Joy of Sex book, get it. Exactly. I told you. We tried to tell y'all last time. Grandma gave that to us, and we was like, oh, okay. So anyway, the last one, okay, let's get to it. The last one that we wanted to talk about tonight is important. Rest and relaxation.
So important.
Right? It's so important to find some space. I know. Life is so serious right now. I know everything is so, boom, boom, boom. But you gotta find a way to create some boundaries. You gotta find a way to create some boundaries and find a way for rest and relaxation. Okay?
It's so necessary. You can't even, you're irritable when you're not rested and relaxed. You can't think correctly when you're not rested and relaxed. And you can keep thinking that if I just push through just a little bit more, that I'm going to be able to get it done. And really the truth of the matter is that I've been studying a lot in regards to your mind, that you're really not accomplishing anything. And especially if you think that you're multitasking, your brain is just not able to function or to focus on something. So rest and relaxation, your cells in your body rejuvenate themselves when you relax and when you rest. So it's very, very necessary for you to relax.
Right. This mom said, I'm a new mom in a state, and I'm at home, and it's very difficult for me, and it's wearing on me. I know you got to create these boundaries for your children, because they will just consume all your time. We was teasing our youngest son today, who is the baby boy, it's all about him whenever he's around, and we love that about him, and we love to feed that for him. But also today we taught him about boundaries, and we told him, we need a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like, go get something to eat and don't come right back. We need a minute because we just sitting in the back and we want to talk. And he laughed and he thought it was funny. He went upstairs and went to the kitchen, opened the window. What y'all doing? We like, leave us alone, because we was just in the backyard chilling. He fixed us tonight though, because he went to his auntie house and left us. Like, oh, y'all don't want to deal with me?
I'll go to my auntie house.
So he went to his auntie house tonight, but at the same time, your children will take up all of your time. all of your time. And you have to be okay with knowing that if you tell them you need a minute and you tell them to bag up, that you're still a great parent.
Exactly.
You're still a good parent. You're still a great parent. You still love them. You still care about them, and providing some space or teaching them to have some space does not necessarily mean that you're a bad parent. They will sleep in your bed. They will eat off your plate. They will sit in between you while you're trying to watch a movie. They will get in them little blockers. They will get in your way. You have to tell them little blockers that, listen, y'all better give me some space. There is a bedtime. If it's not a bedtime, there's a room time where you will go in your room and we will go in our room. And in our house, we call it parent time. That's what it is. And you have to create this, because if not, they will just consume you. And thankfully, if you live in a state where you have existing family, grandmamas, aunties that you trust your children with, take a break, share, bring your kids here. You know what I'm saying? They've been in quarantine like you've been in quarantine, and it's safe for them to be in your space. Bring your kids here, bring them over there. Everybody's been at home. Ain't nobody been nowhere. And you have to create these boundaries and create these safe spaces, even in your home. And you have to do it for yourself, for the two of you. And then you have to do it for each other separately, right? Separately. My wife is good at reminding me. Just the other day, she said, you know, instead of take your shower today, why don't you take a bath? And I was like, you know, it was really nothing preventing me from taking a bath, except for taking a bath means you got to sit down and sit still and get in the water, and you got to run the water. And the whole process of taking a bath, drawing the bath, as they say, slows you down. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't like baths, and that's fine, but it just slows you down. It makes you have to sit back, reflect, and think, and it changes the dynamic.
Yeah. All of that is good. And for those that are parents, and I saw somebody say that they're a new mom, and that it's even more essential that you try to pull away, if it's for 10 minutes, if it's like getting in the closet. I know this sounds crazy, but just getting in the closet and your kids are okay, then just sit in the closet and just sit there and be quiet for yourself. It's necessary. And then, you know, for those people, you know, you can bring somebody in your home that have been quarantined and things of that nature, but please don't feel that you're a bad parent when you're taking time for yourself and taking time for your marriage. It's very essential. Get your kids out of your bed, sleep train your children. We are a big advocate of that your children need to be out of your bed. We have a child that was in the ICU for a couple of weeks. And if anybody, first 10 days of his life, he had 3 surgeries, you know, so it was like, we're not talking from a space where we didn't have to like make this happen, but we knew that in order for us to have a good marriage and for us to be what we needed to be for our son, we had to be rested. That's and right. We had to be good. So we're not talking from an insensitive place. We're talking from a place where, we had to do the work. And it is uncomfortable, and it does make you feel a little bit bad, but they're going to be all right. Our kids are 19, 13, and 10, and they made it, and they're good.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to feel like you got to hide from your children in your own house.
That you need,
know what I'm saying? They need to learn how to create boundaries in space. They need to learn for themselves, for their own pattern in the future. And if you don't do this, it's unhealthy for you. It's unhealthy for them. So you're teaching your children, even when you're creating space and creating boundaries, right? So you have to create these boundaries for yourself, and you have to find this time. If you don't have the support around you, you have to build it into the fabric of your family, right? If you can't send them to auntie house, you can't send them to grandma house, you don't have somebody you could trust, then you have to build this in the fabric of your family without feeling guilty, so that they learn. Because when they get older, what are they going to do? They're going
to leave you.
They're going to leave you, and they're going to
leave you when they become teenagers.
That's
Forget
right.
about leaving your house.
With you at all. Exactly.
They're going to leave you.
Yeah. So you got to protect it, and you got to learn how to build it in. It's healthy, because you're not God. You're made in the image and likeness of God, but you are not God. And so because God himself rested on the 7th day, he found rest essential, right? Then you have to find rest essential. One of my mentors always told me, come apart before you come apart. He said, come apart before you come apart. Build rest into the fabric of your life. And when my wife encouraged me to take that bath, just sitting there, I mean, I felt like Rev Run for a second. I just sat there and I just thought, but my mind was able to flow.
bath will help
It
you.
was free. It slowed me down, and I slept like a baby, you know? So it's like, it's very healthy for you to create this boundaries, and don't let your children feel like they run you and they rule you, because rest is essential, right? So 3 things inside of rest, and then we done for the night. We just resting out here, chilling on the porch from sun up to sundown. And so the first thing was
just exist. And what exactly that means, exactly what I said, just exist. Like turn the cell phone off, the telephone, the TV, like all of it, and just simply be in the same space as your spouse and just exist, not having to say anything necessarily, not trying to deal with a problem, but just, let's just sit here. Let's just sit here. If we want to look at each other, we can look at each other. If we want to do something, we can do something. But just really just exist, and just kind of hone in on each other.
And make sure that you communicate that's what you're doing. Because again, for the person whose love language is quality time, did you see how she was just exist? We don't got to do nothing. We just sit.
We got to do nothing.
And I love that, especially when we get in the car. That's the time I want her to just be quiet and just exist. And that's not the time. Where are we going? Why are you going that way? What you doing, right? Because in the car, we just ride and just be quiet, just chill. But that's the time she don't want to chill, right? But then other times when she just want to be there, she just want to play on her phone, sit on the couch, put her feet on me so she can have the best of both worlds, quality time and physical touch. She touching me and in the room with me, and she just sitting there, and I'm almost like, what are we doing? What do you want? Why are you here? Are we talking, not talking? Are we doing something? Are you rubbing on my feet, on my leg, because you're trying to tell me something? Because if you touch a man, he just automatically think it must mean something. So I'm like, should I prepare for something? Is something about to happen? And so in this same process, you need to communicate if we just existing right now. So I know that because the person whose love language is quality time is just one existing, right? Right now, see how she leaned all over on me? I'm like, get over, you're in my space. I can't talk like that. But she's like, I want to be next to you. And I love that. But I just want to know that's what we doing, because at the same time, how I got in this moment this week was doing that, but not saying anything to me, not communicating to me, was making me feel like I didn't understand she was in her head, and I didn't have time to get in her head with her unless she wanted to. But once she told me she just being quiet, I left her alone. It was no problem. I could do it too. But again, we told you we're both firstborns, super independent. So we don't create moments to be vulnerable. We'll look up and it's 2 weeks and we fine, just going on the flow, doing what we doing, and nobody's mad at nothing. Nothing's wrong. We just grew up knowing how to get it in without each other. And so we have to build in these moments of transparency and vulnerability of needing one another.
Needing one another. Not in an unhealthy way, but because if you don't show me that you need me,
right,
then I'm not going to need you. And we know couples who do this.
Right.
They do this all the time. They don't do much of anything together. Yeah. And that does not allow your relationship to get stronger or to grow, or you to even grow into the individuals that you need to be together, because you have done this so much.
Listen, this is so funny. I gave my wife 12 to choose from, and she chose 2 of them that was the same. Go ahead, do the next one for rest and relaxation. Go ahead. Tell the people what the other one you chose.
I thought that
for the quality time physical touch person. Go ahead, tell them.
Snuggle, just to sit on the couch and snuggle and put your feet on each other, and rub each other like that. And snuggle.
Yay, that's so fun. I'm having so much fun right now. I don't know what to do.
But you have to do it. But it's interesting because some people, touching relaxes them. It helps them. If you can really find it through a child, but most people have dogs, and their dog is very soothing to them. They sit there with their dog, they hold their dog, like all of that kind of stuff. Their children sit there, rub on them, all that kind of stuff. I don't know why you acted like that.
Baby, I like to snuggle with you. I'm just saying. Sometimes, listen, guys, we being real tonight, right?
I know, that's why I put it on there.
Because why?
Because I know what I'm about to say. I know that I don't always like to snuggle. I don't always like to snuggle. because I can just give me a pillow and be okay.
Yes. But
But
then
I know for him,
but hey, but then on top of that, she don't always like to snuggle, but she always wants me there. So if I wake up early in the morning, I want to get up in the morning, get out the bed and get my day going. Sometimes as a benefit and a treat just for her, she will ask me to remain in the bed and just lay there. I'm like, what are we doing? Why am I here? I just don't go nowhere. Just where are you going? I'm not going anywhere. What are you talking about? Like, I'm just sitting here and I am just trying to get up. I don't want to lay here anymore. But for her, quality time, physical touch, laying there. So for me, sometimes I'll just lay there because it's what she wants. And I'll just lay there until she says I can get up. It's exhausting sometimes. It is painstaking sometimes, but I do it, and because I think about how many things she probably does for me that she doesn't want to do. That's exhausting to her. But when you get up and you lay there, and it's like hours later, and you still laying there because we just land here, like because you just want to lay here, like, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's because you got to do for the other person what they want. Sometimes you can't just do what you want for the other person.
I agree. That's why I put it on there.
Okay. Last one in rest and relaxation is just unplug. Yeah. And see how much you like each other. Just unplug and just see how much you like each other. Just reconnect by disconnecting from everything. You know, turn the electronics off. Like every time you're together, you don't need
to be on your phone
scrolling or texting or whatever. Just unplug and just reconnect and just say, like, who are you now? Who are you today? And what is it that you care about right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, the unplug is intentional. And when you're unplugging, you have to be intentional. And I think the quarantine has.
Sorry.
Oh, my God. I think that the quarantine has kind of showed people the relationship that they're in and the person that they're with. And so the whole thing about rejuvenation is, now that I see this about you, now how can I use this information that I have for the goodness of our relationship, to learn you in a different way. And unplugging helps you to really see the individual and to focus on them. As my husband said, you know, what's important to you now? What do you like now that you didn't, like before? Like all of those things. Unplugging just allows you to really see the person with no frame, no highlighter, like nothing. This is who I am, and this is where I am. So unplugging, it magnifies all of those things. That's right. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. And that's the way that you need to go into it. Not in a bad way. You need to unplug and see the magnification of this person.
That's right. So making sure that you reconnect by disconnecting is so healthy, because when you do it, you don't even realize how much you're always plugged in, always responding to every text message, everybody's demand, everybody's want, everybody's call, everybody's phone time, and there has to be a time where you turn your phone off, where you plug it, where you put it in another room, where you do not always have 3 people in every conversation or 3 devices in every conversation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you're looking at that and you're dealing with it, you're trying to make sure you protect your intimacy by unplugging and literally saying, it's okay for me to answer that email tomorrow. Because especially from people working from home, and your bosses want you to be, available in every single second, and it's nonstop, every Zoom, every phone call, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a lot of stuff that's enhancing you. It's a lot of stuff where people want from you. I mean, that's why we appreciate you guys locking in with us on Mondays, because we're here to pour into you, because we know most of your interactions are trying to require something from you or want something from you or put in another demand on you. And so we're trying to empower you and give you something that at least maybe you could do together. Yeah. And so we appreciate every week when you spend this hour with us just to enhance. Today we was like, should we give it a break, or you think people will still come on? And look, I mean, our numbers
are so high.
because you guys are truly engaged, and that means you're getting something out of it. So we just really want to make sure that we spend this time pouring into you, and that you find we give you permission to do what's already in your head. Sometimes you just want the encouragement, somebody just say, you're not crazy, and that's okay for you to do that, and for you to manage that way, for you to create some boundaries in your own life and your own relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it is. Yeah. So you hear now the night has come out, and we out here in the forest.
Okay.
and the animals is out here creating that ambiance, and that's ambiance for me. And she think it's bugs, and I'll be like, I like it because it's peaceful and it's calm. So we hope that you got it tonight. What did you guys think? Was this helpful for you? Is this where you were that you need to hear this? Reflection was number 1 if you came in late, and recreation was number 2, and then the third one was rest and relaxation. So did it help you? Did it benefit you? Did it bring something to you and allow you some space to think, what are you going to do? What is your takeaways from this? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with this information? Did it help you tonight? Because we really just came to help you and came to provide some strength and some energy for your life. So thank you so much. We appreciate y'all pouring. Yes, we will be married 21 years. Wow, 21 years. Congratulations. Thank you for spending Mondays with us. Wow, after 21 years of marriage. Wow, that's so good. Oh, no. Somebody says, so helpful for my boyfriend at work, so I will be telling him all of this. That's funny. Oh, no, I'm single and I look forward to Marriage Mondays. That's awesome. Thank you. Definitely good. Always good. Very, very helpful. I appreciate that. That's so good. Do more reflection. That's your takeaway. Thank you. Do more reflection. Do more reflection. So good. If you know somebody that can use this, why don't you tag them? It's up for 24 hours, and then it'll go up on Facebook, up on YouTube for an extended period of time. We are building so much curriculum inside of JG Classroom. The online Create a Marriage that we just did, we filmed it. So those of you that couldn't make it that time, you'll be able to pay for it and take it as a video on demand on JG Classroom. It's coming up very soon. So if you haven't subscribed to my page, please go and subscribe, because that's coming out. We just got through filming 6 sessions of marriage enrichment for you if you are doing premarital counseling or want to be married or are married and want to do some kind of virtual counseling. It will come with an online Zoom private session after you complete all the sessions. But we went through six different things that we teach every married couple. That's going to be in JG Classroom as well, that you'll be able to take on video on demand. My wife does Selah Saturday every Saturday morning at 9:00 Eastern for ladies only. And yes, that's an opportunity.
I know some men come in there, I'll be cracking up
for that same type of environment and ambiance. So we hope that we add value to you. Thank you so much again for sewing every Monday. When you sew, we appreciate it. You are exchanging the temporal for the spiritual, and we appreciate that. It goes way into your future and way into your family. And we always say, even the single people that always say, I'm sowing into my future marriage, and you're sowing into us. You believing that the time that we take to do this and the effort that we put into doing it, that it has value. It's an hour. And some of you so many different levels wherever you are. But yeah, it's cheaper than marriage counseling, a session with a therapist. And so we appreciate that. And we receive your gifts into our home and in our family. And we pray over every gift that's given, that it's multiplied in your family and in your life 100-fold, wherever it is that you need it the most. So thank you so much for doing that. Right. So let's do our marriage confession. And then we will be done tonight with 10 minutes to spare.
Wow, we did really good.
Yeah, so my marriage is blessed.
My marriage is blessed. My spouse and I
are led
by
the Spirit of God.
By the Spirit of God.
And when we pray together in unity.
And when we pray together in unity.
Our prayers are powerful.
And
we get results.
We
make every effort.
To
establish peace and harmony in our home.
Together we walk in agreement. Together we walk in agreement.
And we are an unstoppable force.
And we are an unstoppable force.
If we get angry,
we
are quick to forgive.
We are quick to forgive.
So that we do not have strife in our relationship.
So that we do not have strife in our relationship.
We are not self-seeking.
We are not self-seeking. Rude, proud,
boastful, or jealous. Instead, we are loving, kind, patient, and we put each other's needs before our own. We trust each other. And protect the sanctity. Of our marriage. God has joined us together. And we will not be separated. We love you so much. Those of you that's connecting with us, New Life, we're doing home improvement this month, and the assignment was to watch a movie with your family. So pick a good movie, watch a movie with your family.
A lot of great movies too.
Find some recreation, guys. Get outside, find a space. Thank you for covering us in prayer. We appreciate that. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for our family. Somebody said Marriage Money Son is now part of my weekly budget.
Wow.
Some of the best money that I spend. Wow, that is so powerful. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you for covering us in prayer. We appreciate that, Rosie. Thank you for covering our family. We appreciate prayer and just for praying for us. We pray over you, so thank you for praying over us. Movie challenge this week. With your family, watch a movie and then create some space between you and them and tell them to go somewhere. Go for a walk, do something fun with your family. Try to put these things into practice. And again, thank you for sowing. Thank you for praying. And thank you for connecting with us. All right.